I moved to the United States from India to study and work. To support myself, I got a job at a small restaurant in town. The restaurant was open late, and I often worked the night shift, finishing just before midnight. For the past few weeks, a strange man had been coming to the restaurant every night, always 5 minutes before closing. He never said much, just ordered coffee and sat quietly. There were hardly any customers at that hour, so I couldn't help but notice him. He had a creepy way of staring at me that made me feel uncomfortable. After work, as I walked home, I often felt like someone was watching me. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was just my imagination. But the feeling didn't go away. One day, I told my friend Priya about the man and how he made me feel uneasy. Priya was concerned and said she would come with me tonight after my shift. That night, Priya waited for me at the restaurant. We walked home together, chatting to keep our spirits up. When we reached my apartment, Priya hugged me goodbye and left. I felt a bit better with Priya's company, but I still couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I decided to take a shower to relax. While in the bathroom, I heard a noise. I thought it was my cat and didn't worry about it. After my shower, I went to my bedroom and lay down, ready to sleep. I called my boyfriend, Jason, who was a police officer. Talking to him always made me feel safe. Suddenly, I heard a noise from the kitchen. I froze and turned my head to look. From my bedroom, I saw a man running into my living room. My heart raced with fear. I quickly locked my bedroom door and told Jason what had happened. He assured me he was on his way. I sat on my bed, holding my phone tightly, trying to stay calm while I waited for Jason to arrive. I could hear the man moving around in the living room, and I prayed he wouldn't try to get into my bedroom. After what felt like an eternity, I heard a loud knock on my door, followed by Jason's voice. I unlocked the door and Jason rushed in, his gun drawn. He searched the apartment, but the man was gone. Jason found the window in the living room open, the curtain blowing in the wind. Jason insisted that I stay with him that night. As we left my apartment, I couldn't help but feel relieved that Jason was with me. But I knew I would never forget the feeling of being watched and the man who came to the restaurant every night. I started my shift at the old hospital after midnight. I didn't like working nights, but it paid the bills. As I made my rounds, checking on the patients, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. It was an unsettling sensation, like eyes boring into my back every time I turned around. In one room, an elderly man lay sleeping. His breathing was steady, and he looked peaceful. I gently adjusted his blanket to keep him warm. Just as I was about to leave, I heard a soft whisper behind me saying, "Help me." My heart skipped a beat. I turned around quickly, but the man was still asleep. Throughout the night, strange things happened. Lights flickered and equipment beeped for no reason, making me feel increasingly uneasy. In another room, a young woman who was recovering from surgery suddenly sat up. Her eyes were wide with fear, and she whispered urgently, "He's here." Before I could respond, she collapsed back onto the bed, unconscious. Panic surged through me as I checked her vitals, which, thankfully, were normal. I made a mental note to report it, but I was growing more and more scared. I hurried through my remaining rounds, desperate to finish and get back to the safety of the nurse's station. When I tried to call for help on my walkie-talkie, it only emitted static. I fiddled with it, but it was useless. I felt completely isolated.